Aloha, this is Kurt Nielsen with eMortgage Hawaii, and I just want to give you a quick video to talk about where we think mortgage rates are going from here. As you know, we projected that after the CPI reading on November 10th, we'd see a nice drop in mortgage rates, and sure enough, we've gone from about 7% all the way below 6% now in the 30-year fix. You can even get an ARM as low as 5%, 4 3/4. So where do we think things are going from here? Also, I get a lot of questions about real estate. When do we see a rebound in home sales? Well, I have a date for that, and that date is May 10th. So I'd like to talk to you about why we are looking at May 10th as such an important date. So let's take a look at the next big drop in mortgage rates. We see an upcoming rebound in home sales that will begin on May 10th, 2023. And why then? So let's take a look at the CPI. As you remember, mortgage rates follow the inflation, the CPI. And if you remember last summer, we had a lot of people saying that they were going to see, they thought that inflation would come way down over the summer months. And we were saying, no, that just can't happen. It's just not really feasible. And the reason why is CPI is calculated based on the addition of every month of inflation, the monthly inflation. They take 12 months of that, and that equals the annual inflation. Well, over the summer of this year, we were taking numbers and replacing little numbers. So if you drop a little number and add a bigger number, inflation goes up. But we also saw that in October, November, December, January, we're going to be getting rid of some big numbers and hopefully replacing them with smaller numbers. That's the reason we thought CPI would come down. Pretty simple mathematics. So where do we go from here? So if we take a look at this upcoming spring and summer, these are all pretty big numbers. And as we move into the 2023, this is 2022, we're going to start dropping these numbers. Everything but March was a smaller number, and that had to do with some oil price issues. But if you look at, for the most part, we're going to be dropping a lot of big numbers all the way through September, with two exceptions, March and July, and replacing them hopefully with numbers that are more consistent with November and December. We also need to look at the underlying components of CPI. So let's take a look at shelter cost. If shelter costs are 33%, roughly 1/3 of the CPI. So we also have to look at shelter cost. And if you look at last year, from February all the way through December, shelter costs were really rising. High inflation in shelter cost, which has a big impact on CPI. Well, we believe these numbers are coming down. So as we get into April, May, June, July, we're going to see these shelter costs come down. We're going to be dropping these big numbers and replacing them with small numbers. So we think that come May 10th, we're going to see a nice drop in inflation, and from there, it's even going to get better. May, June, July was a little bit down, but then you go into August and September. So I think the summer, you're going to see a very nice drop in mortgage rates from starting on May 10th and throughout the summer. We could see a little bit of a drop from here into May 10th. So we got about 4 months of bouncing around a little bit on mortgage rates. Hopefully they'll come down a little bit, but I think then we're going to accelerate into much lower mortgage rates. And what is that going to do to housing? That's just going to bring some buyers off the fence and bring them into the market. So what's our forecast? Rates will slowly decline until May 10th. After May 10th, the decline in rates will accelerate throughout the summer. Lower mortgage rates will increase home sales from the borrowers who have been sitting on the fence due to rates. So I really expect we'll see a lot of borrowers re-enter the market once they see these low rates. And I think realtors should really be prepared for the upcoming seller's market that will begin this summer. So you're going to have a lot more buyers. It'll change from where it is today to more of a seller's market. And also, do you know any homeowners that are locked into their current home because they have a very low mortgage rate? Maybe they want to move, but maybe they can't afford to move because they don't want to get rid of a 3% mortgage rate. Well, those rates are going to be coming back. So maybe the time to sell is coming. So, starting the conversations with those people would be a very good idea. So I hope you appreciate the forecast. We'll follow up with you later this spring, and we really do look forward to a great summer of lower mortgage rates and much higher activity in the housing market in Hawaii. Thank you. And if you'd like to talk to me more about it, just call me on my cell phone, 808-896-6800.